All right, so now the next topic we're going to talk about here is the Explore and Citation tool in Google Docs. And unfortunately, Jamie Frederickson is not able to join us live, but she prepared an amazing video for us where she explains the Explore and Citation tool. Just to put in a plug here, Jamie is a Google Level 1 participant. It's one of the programs that we have to help our teachers to go through the process of getting their Google Level 1 and Google Level 2 certification. So she learned about this tool during that program. So I will go ahead and play that video and share my screen with all of you. All right, let's give it a second shot.
To how did they do that live, although I am not live. I'm here to share with you a little bit about some Google Docs tools, specifically Explore and Citation tools, and I'm here as a representative of a participant in the Level 1 Google Academy this year. My name is Jamie Frederickson, and a little bit about me, I'm the library media teacher at Gregory. I'm also the ed tech liaison, and before I moved to the library, I was an English and psychology teacher. As you can guess, research and writing is important in all of those realms and many more, and unfortunately, they can often seem like super daunting tasks when we're trying to get it right, both for teachers and students. So when I was asked to share some of my learning from the Google Academy this year, I wanted to highlight these specific features from Google Docs because I believe that they make research assignments more accessible for students. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Google Docs and its collaborative features, word processing features, autosave functions. From all those lost papers of our youth, we are grateful now to have this autosave feature. Outside of those elements, though, Google Docs has many tools integrated within it, and they add more, it feels like all the time, that makes life easier. So specifically, we're going to look at Explore and Citation features. And another reason I think this is important to talk about is because in the days where academic integrity, especially with writing tasks, can sometimes feel sketchy at best, it's important that our students feel like they can be successful. So the hope is if they're more confident with these skills, they'll be less likely to turn to plagiarism. And if we teach them to use tech for good, they'll be set up for the future. The features we're going to look at can be found elsewhere, other tools and apps online, but using them within the Google Doc workspace or Google Slide workspace, I think makes it less likely they'll get distracted or bogged down by multiple clicks and tabs. And I'm going to demonstrate how to use those features, and I recommend that you follow along and play around with them with your own device. We learn best by doing quite often. And one thing I'll say from introducing these tools to students this year, they found them really helpful. Citing sources with all of those intricate rules can feel super burdensome, and we don't want to discourage students from doing things the right way and developing really important research skills. The most important elements of research aren't the technical details of a works cited page. It's finding good sources, learning from those sources, giving them credit, synthesizing it all into some new knowledge. So removing any roadblocks to that great deep learning and knowledge building for students is really important. And we want them to have a sense of academic integrity and see that not only is it important, but it's doable to have both things. So while we work together, I'm going to start with a blank Google Doc or semi-blank Google Doc. And when I go through these skills with students, I start with a blank document because there's a huge knowledge gap for kids. For us, especially our 9th graders, they come from multiple feeder schools and districts. And every student's not on the same page, and we want to get them on the same footing. And so I show students the various tools, right? So file page setup to make sure they have the correct margins, which I've done on this paper already. Times New Roman, size 12 font, double spacing. You'd be amazed the students who I watch when they are going to print a final paper, they hit enter after every line. So we show them how to use tech for good, again, and make lives easier, and just the basic page setup rules. So if you have the time in your class, I recommend you walk them through those steps every now and then and show them the importance of setting up a great paper ahead of time, because then they're going to be looking at something professional while they add their work to it. And I think that can give them a sense of pride, and it feels organized, and it's a nice way to start things off. The step I will show you that many students don't realize is there is when we want them to do page numbers, you can double click in the top inch of your paper to get your header, which is going to print on every page, right? It's going to copy what's there onto every page of your paper. And again, I watch students try to manually type in the page numbers for their work, and that messes up the formatting. They're having to space down a line. And so teaching them this very basic tool is really helpful. So first of all, most headers, they're going to write their last name. Maybe for some papers, you have kids use their ID numbers. And I love when students teach me things, because when I was walking kids through this and I'm like, okay, how do we insert a page number? So they would take me over here to this insert page number option, which is how I know to do it. And this kid raised his hand. He's like, click options, page numbers. It's super easy. So I love when kids can make me feel old like that. So there's multiple ways to get a page number that will auto change for whatever page it's on, and it will number their paper for them. So we've set it up. If that was review for you, sorry, thanks for sticking along though, just to make sure everyone knows where we're at and seeing those steps that I think can help kids along the way. So we're doing research, we're doing Shakespeare research, and let's say I want our students to just gather 10 facts to orient themselves. I could give them the information myself, or I could let them explore on their own. I could go to the library and have their librarian help them with some research or uncover certain great sources. But let's say we're just opening it up and I want my students to search Shakespeare, Elizabethan England to get ready to read some drama. The feature we're going to look at is called Explore. So what our students or teachers can do is we go to Tools, and then we're going to click Explore. And now within my workplace, it's essentially a Google search. And you can see here, it's already recommending William Shakespeare because I wrote about it. And if I had more content, I might have other suggestions here. So I'm going to click William Shakespeare. And now I have a web search within my document. So I can scroll past Wikipedia, and I'm going to look at the URLs and try and find a great source that might teach me something that I could use to gather some facts. As you can see, I can do image searches, and I can search my drive. So here I see former lesson plans that I have. So these features, as an educator, could help me build a Google slide, right? Having this image search is a great way if I'm trying to add visuals. Say I'm trying to make a hyperdoc of resources, I can easily jump to any of my other work if I were trying to link to those and build like a hyperdoc. So there's a lot of implications for this super simple tool of Explore. It is just a Google search. So when I click here and I'm going to look at William Shakespeare's biography, okay, it's going to open a new tab and I can peruse this information and get some life. Maybe I go, oh, here we go. I can now link to a timeline so that for a student, they don't have to read as much, right? And it's a little bit interactive. So students might find a great resource, but maybe they review it and they decide they want to look at another one. I come back to my results and I'm going to see here biography.com because I want some more details about his life. So when a student is looking here, they're doing their work, they're going to find some facts. Maybe they realize that one of the facts they want to talk about is, let's jump down. He is a mysterious figure because there were 7 years of his life without any records. So my student's going to say this. Shakespeare's life is a mystery. So I used biography.com to teach me this. So now though, when I go back to my explore options, since I used this source, one cool tool, depending on your purposes, when I click this little quotation mark icon, it is going to give me a number 1 here. And down at the bottom, I have a footnote telling me this is where I got my information. So if you have students practicing just source tracking, this footnote feature is super simple, right? It's going to create it for them. It's really neat. It won't work for all assignments or all items. But now let's say I've moved past my 10 facts, and now I'm writing a paper. And at the end of my paper, I have a works cited. So to build a works cited, students often they're studying those tools. Maybe they're using, in the past, we recommended Noodle tools or EasyBib, which are websites online that are great and have fill in the box information to build works cited and track sources. But Google Docs is going to do this for us too. And it's really helpful and it's really simple, and there's no pop-up ads or creating a free account. It's all within the Google Workspace. So now I'm going to go to my tools and I'm going to go to citations. Okay. We'll delete these. These were the last time I demonstrated it. And I'm going to add a source. And I'm just going to follow these drop-down options. I found a website that helped me, this biography.com. So I will gather my information here, and then I'm going to search, and it is going to pull the title, web title, the date it was published, and access, and who wrote it. There's an author listed, which is quite a boon for web sources. We're going to continue, and we have no blanks that we need to fill in. And I'm going to do add citation source, and now I have this properly formatted so far citation here. I can add another source. As you can see, if you have students using print sources, maybe even their textbook, you want them to use a chapter specifically, you know, they can fill it in. So if it was a print source, you can even search it. Or we're going to cite manually, and the students are just going to follow each step and they can fill it in. So they can still have to do some hands-on work if you choose to. But for ease of use, we're going to find another source. Let's see what we get from this URL as well. So when I paste these in, this year I didn't get, or this time I didn't get quite so lucky. I don't have the published year and I don't have a contributor, but I'm still gonna do the best I can to cite my source, okay? Since there's no author listed, okay, we're gonna say, you know, where are we looking here? We are in the Shakespeare Birthplace Trust. So that's a mouthful, but we're going to say corporation, organization, since they published it. Okay. And we're going to add our source. So now I have 2 sources listed here, and I'm going to insert a works cited with the click of a button. And it's even going to help me. It's going to offer remove sources that are not cited in the text, right? A works cited is only sources we've used versus a bibliography that would have anything we read to gain knowledge on our topic. It put it in alphabetical order for me. I have a hanging indent, so I don't have to mess with the formatting. It did all of that work for me, and I already did the brain work, right, of finding my good sources, pulling facts from it. So these tools, as you can see, it makes a task that can sometimes be complicated or time-consuming super simple. So kids can focus on sharing their learning and their knowledge, proofreading their writing without some of the stress. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that it gives you a little bit of confidence with some research things. I'll do a quick plug that when you're working with tools and projects like this, your librarian on campus would love to help your kids with research. So reach out, work together, let them teach your students, and practice those things for yourself as well. So I hope it might help you with lesson planning, presentations, or help show your students that research doesn't have to be scary, citing sources doesn't have to be scary, and there's a way to find great tools out there. If your students did use library sources like databases and things like that, which will also within those tools give you the citation, they could paste it in here, right? And they can still add to and create a proper works cited using those library tools as well that will cite your work for you, which also makes life easy, which is our goal. So hope you learned something valuable. Hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for your time.